Hey guys, Big Jonas here checking in on Bitcoin. Start with the daily chart here. Look at the correlation and the clear similarities between this topping pattern and what we had seen at the end of 2017, Bitcoin's run to $20,000. These look very eerily similar, and if this is the case, then we're somewhere around this area of Bitcoin's price action, holding on and holding on before a much more meaningful and substantial epic dump that potentially is what is lining up here for Bitcoin. Let's go to our most recent price action here. So we've been seeing this resistance line. Okay, we did break above it intra-candle, but got very strongly rejected, so that is holding. We do have this support line right here, and this basically is all quantifying this falling wedge. Now, falling wedges can definitely be bullish patterns, but they have to be completed, and that basically puts another triple test of this lower support line, which would put the price somewhere around the mid 8K region. We can also see, if we look at a inverse extension of our fall to our top off period, that we do see our golden pocket is right also in this key area of support around the $86 to $8,500 range. And of course, we know that that does coincide with the filling of the gap on the CME futures. So we are started a Saturday, or I guess we're halfway through, a very bearish candle. What's more meaningful to me, though, is on the weekly candle. Still got about a day and a half left for this to play out. And we have really given back all of last week's bullish bounce. And we are basically flirting with a very similar situation here, retesting EMA 12 potentially and going lower. So we're going to keep an eye to see how low our weekly candle ends up as we finish up the week here, because what has happened now is we have actually found, for now, this resistance right here on the June 10th weekly candle, right at $9,300 and change, is now just barely holding up our price action on the weekly. The reason I bring up my EMAs here is because it's important to know that on the weekly chart, this is still the most bullish out of all the time frames there, because of how high we still are above our EMAs. Lower time frames, 3-day, flirting with losing our EMA 26. Daily, already lost it. And this was the sign. This was like a week ago. And I talked about this a lot on Twitter, how the bear cross confirmed on the daily EMAs was a very bearish sign, as this was the first bear cross to happen in the daily since back here in February, and that extension is continuing. Not only is this a bear cross, but what we're now seeing is resistance on our EMA 12 on the back test to try and get back above it. It was nice to see we were able to get above it intra candle here, but that has rejected, and now we are spreading out wider. I do want to go back to the 3-day I just showed you here. You can see on the penny is where we have found current support on our EMA 26, and we are just kind of sandwiched now between them. Now, these have yet to cross bearish. As you can see, there's still several more 3-day candles left for these to even get closer here. So this is still holding an overall bullish posture in the spread of our EMAs, as well as the current support on the 26. But we have to go to these higher time frames to see this slight bullishness still hold. On all of our lower time frames, 12-hour, daily, 12-hour, look at that EMA 26 resistance to the penny. This is why I use my 12 and 26. Okay, they're very accurate. And that was a major bearish sign there, that we got right to the EMA 26 there, got very strongly rejected. And we are seeing that bearish cross we had on the 12-hour back in mid-July, still playing out and almost accelerating here. So nothing really good here on these time frames up until you get to this higher time frame, basically 3-day and above. I do want to mention the Ichimoku cloud. Look at this very strong rejection on the 12-hour. Price action was trying to get back up into the cloud. Got a very strong rejection here. You can also see it on the daily, and this is very interesting. So Bitcoin was super bullish, right? We broke out of our bearish cloud here. We advanced, riding Tenkan-sen support all the way up. Tested a little Kaijin-sen there, bounced very nicely. And then once we lost both, we got back into our cloud, and because we are back in the cloud, these are the resistance and support levels that could hold. Now support, again, down to around the $8,700 area, and that would be an area, the mid 8Ks, another area of consistency and confluence where Bitcoin may actually be able to find those areas of support. But for now, the price action has ridden back into the cloud. That is notable. 3-day, we're still way above it. And the weekly, this is actually very bad that we were able to regain cloud support last week, but now we're actually back in the cloud. And this opens up a whole potential for much lower prices if this cloud resistance holds. And you can see it's a dead stick right around $10,300. That's why the 10,300 area was always been my major, bull bear line of crossing. If Bitcoin could be able to be above 10.3, those higher bullish targets were definitely in play. Now that Bitcoin has gotten rejected pretty soundly from that 10.3 area by now almost $1,000, price action in the cloud is basically assumed for the weeks ahead. Let's take a look at a couple other indicators here. I want to bring up my triple MA, MA50, MA100, MA200. I do want to start with the 4-hour. Once Bitcoin lost support and got rejected, double rejection here on the MA 200, which from a historical standpoint has been a very key area of support. You can see how perfectly the MA200 on the 4-hour bounce, little dip there, bounce, hold, and acceleration there. So the 4-hour was very, look at it right there, to the penny, hold. Very notable support on the way up, and now is very notable resistance on the way down. Let's go to our 12-hour. We have broken the 50, we've broken support on the 100, and the daily, same thing. 50 is now resistance. MA 100 down here, look at that, another area of confluence in the mid $8,000 range. And then take a look here on the weekly. Now, this is the thing. Look how much higher the price still is from our nearest term moving averages. And the weekly chart was the highest time frame where these moving averages were still in a bearish stance, with the 100 over the 50 over the 200. We wanted to see the 50 over the 100, and we're not even seeing that yet. There's a long way to go down here just to hit that first moving average support, MA 100 on the weekly chart. Let's take a look at our Bollinger Bands here. We're going to start with the weekly. Once again, let me go back to linear here. It's a little clearer with the Bollinger Bands. Middle Bollinger support, $7,500 here. We definitely got that major rejection on the upper Bollinger. Whenever that happens on the upper BB, I target the middle Bollinger. Whenever we get support on the lower BB, I target the middle Bollinger. So right now we are still between middle BB and upper BB with that rejection on the weekly. Daily, because we continue to get rejected on the middle BB, and especially this was the signal right here back on July 20th. We got a very stern rejection on the middle Bollinger on the daily chart, almost to the penny here, and ever since then you can see how the price action has responded. This looks more potential to set up for another lower Bollinger test because of the resistance on the middle BB. Lower time frames are still showing a more or less tightening Bollinger there, but we're actually still very wide on a higher time frames here. See how wide the Bollingers are. And notice the 3-day resistance here on the middle BB after finding it support on several 3-day candles in a row, and now back-to-back double resistance there. So we're starting to see indicators that were such strong support on the way up are now acting as resistance on the way down. Looking at our TD indicators here, a couple things here. We have um, probably going to confirm this red 2 below a red 1. So on the weekly, this is the start of a potential, from the weekly standpoint, of a short trade there. The 3-day here, we are on an 8, so we're getting a little long in this bearish price action here, shown here on the 3-day. And this still here has almost 4 more days to play out to finish up the 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, as long as that is price action below $10,700. Looking at our daily, we are putting in a daily 6, so potentially 3 more days of downside before we get some sort of a relief. All other counts are early in the counts, yet we're still very early in these counts there. However, all of them are red 2s below red 1s. So we're definitely in these bearish counts, other than the hourly chart, which we might see a little bit of relief here. We just did close out a very nice perfected 9 here on this hourly lower time frame. So right now, just seeing a little bit of a chance of holding this oversold bounce, because listen, Bitcoin has fallen in the past 12 hours, over $800 there. So if you didn't short, if you weren't in a short back up here, I wouldn't be looking to get another nice looking short here. Your risk versus reward isn't as good as it was when we were much higher here. Looking for potential long opportunities just for scalps, though. These aren't like trend changing plays here. These are just taking advantage of oversold conditions, oversold bounces there. It's very important. This is our CMF, our chalk and money flow. We can see that we've been trying to hold our 0 line. It's right here, and we have right now intraday. We were able to get above it, and now we're lowering that as well. So we're basically seeing that unwind continue on balance volume. The on balance volume actually looks a lot more like a descending triangle here. What am I doing there? There we go. Descending triangle there, which is a bearish pattern, basically. We keep testing a defined support area. We keep putting in lower highs, and then we break through here. So, sure, there is a chance to get maybe one more little wiggle up here and come down, or this can just fail automatically and come down there. But nothing really very clean and very bullish at all in what we're seeing here in the price action. And not to, also remember, like, we're in the weekend now. Like, this is normally a slower time period for trading. We are in the dead summer months here, as it is. So this is definitely a time here where big, quick price action moves are definitely the name of the game. I want to take a look real quick here at where is it? Bitcoin dominance still holding out here. Still holding this high 67% area here, and did finish up a 9 here. We were actually on a 9 on the daily here. So if this starts to advance, goes to 68, 69, maybe 70. That's going to be a really death knell for the altcoins, who were a little poppy the past couple days because Bitcoin's kind of hovering price action here. But Bitcoin falling and seeing this bearishness here, could definitely accelerate and take, the market farther along with it. So we're going to keep an eye. Give me 1 second here. I've lost my Coinbase. There we go. So we're basically, let's see here, get back to our daily. Let's look into the 4-hour again. I like the 4-hour chart. So let's take a look here. Oh, let's do some fibs. Always like a good fib here. All right. So what I want to see is a couple things here. So let's talk about the fibs. And now, you have to look at this as more of a not a correction before continuation, but potentially more as an overall retracement of the overall bullish move. And because we are blowing through 382 support here, can I make this bigger fonts? Doesn't seem like I can. Make this a little bigger, a little brighter, I guess. Because we have failed to hold the 382 support, the 5.5 is next, and that's right around 8K. So there's a big gap here between where we are seeing our support hold for several days here and potentially where the next zone of support is. Now, the best case kind of bullish scenario is I would basically uh, do this from climbing up the mountain versus falling down the mountain. You can see, and this is the scenario that we're just doing a very nasty pullback, but still holding our overall uptrend. And as you can see, the base camp at 236 was supported. We blasted through all the way to our golden ratio. We found a little support turn resistance at the 55, and now we're finding support potentially turning resistance again at the 382. And as you can see, there is once again a very large gap here to get down all the way to the 236, which is at 7K. The last extension I want to talk about is just an extension from the most recent high to low, pulling it back to high here. And we can see that we got the rejection here at the 236. We originally were able to hold support at the 382, and the next 5.5 is down just a hair under 9K. And the more important golden ratio zone is once again in that $8,500 area. So there's still lots of confluence talking about the $8,500 area from big extensions, from EMA supports, from chart supports, from the declining line here we started with early in the show. So these are key areas that I will be watching for, and everything else in between these areas to me is just chop. The next meaningful support from where we currently are now is almost $500 lower, and the next meaningful resistance from where we are now is almost $600 higher. So between the best case upper resistance and the best case lower support, there's about $500 between either one. And in this chop zone, taking a meaningful long or taking a meaningful short on a higher time frame is just not, there's not a clear picture now. Everything in this zone here is just low time frame scalps, quick shorts, quick longs. But overall, the price action is bearish, continues to be bearish. And listen, who are you going to believe? The bulls or your lying eyes here. And I put this tweet out about just the inverted scale here. This was a great look at this thing was falling, which means it was bullish, bullish, bullish. We have this double bottom bounce here. Okay, there's your low, there's your higher low, and there's your continuation. And this looks like it wants to go this away now and not this away. And because this is an inverted chart, going up means going down in the price action. And that's what I'm still seeing here in the charts. So I want to give you guys a little update on what I am seeing. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick video here. Please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a like. Please give me a follow on YouTube, and I will keep you guys posted on my thoughts and ideas on Twitter as the day goes by. Until then, guys, have a great weekend. Stay cool out there. It's Big Jonas. Thanks for following. Thanks for being there. I'll be there for you. Talk to you soon. Peace.